When the need for a new building became evident, great care was taken to meet every need of the congregation that could be foreseen. Blueprints were submitted, examined, argued about, modified. The architect and the builders and members of the committee spent long hours discussing the new church. The women said, if we're going to serve all those meals, we'll need a kitchen large enough to work in. The choir director, organist made their suggestions. The church school people said, we need classrooms, more space for every class. And so the plans were adopted. And finally, on the outside, 4 huge pillars topped the 10 stone steps and gave a classic look to the whole structure. The White Temple was a name which was used for a while and then dropped after a discussion of its suitability. The new building was dedicated October 28, 1917. And now the modern church. The church of today is a growing church. There is emphasis on the Christian education of children. The beginning step, of course, is the cradle roll department. Special letters and material are provided regularly for new parents. One of the 2 sacraments of the church is baptism. The family comes to the church for this ancient symbol of dedication. Responsibility for Christian nurture is accepted by both church and parents. In the nursery and kindergarten, little children hear the story of the lamb that was lost and then found again by the Good Shepherd. They learn of God's care and love for one another through stories and songs, talk and play together. The informal fun while learning atmosphere prevails as teacher and pupils together in the primary department explore the questions of life, the resources of religion. They study the teachings of Jesus and the time in which he lived. They work on a Palestinian village and keep their interest high. Christian education has its fruit in Christian activity. The idea of brotherhood and mercy is matched by showing brotherhood. A primary department project puts Christmas gifts of soap under the tree for children across the ocean. Christmas takes on its Christ-centered meaning when the gifts we receive are not half so important as the gifts we give to others. Our children find new meaning in Christmas as they light the Advent candles at church or in their homes. The conversational approach, the sharing of experiences, the free discussion of all kinds of questions, the use of Pilgrim Series, our denominational curriculum, all these mark the modern Congregational Church school. Lively, participating children together with devoted and prepared teachers make the church school of today the seedbed of the church of tomorrow. The confirmation class for 9th grade young people meets with the minister on several Saturday mornings in preparation for church membership. Adults considering membership in our church meet with a deacon, a deaconess, parish assistant, or minister. The covenant of the church is explained, the meaning of the Christian life is explored, and books are given, suggested reading. And the traditional right hand of fellowship at a communion service is extended to the new members. Worship experiences for our children include singing in our junior choir at the first church service every Sunday morning. If an earlier teaching method was like pouring water into a basin, Our modern approach is illustrated by the water that nourishes a growing mind that can respond, that shares its beauty as it grows toward Christian maturity. Prepared teachers are no accident. In addition to their home study required each week, there are numerous individual conferences and group sessions where child development is studied, where the Pilgrim Series material is examined and activities are planned. Audio-visual aids are previewed and considered carefully. Specific questions are dealt with and good ideas are shared. Opportunities are provided even for interdenominational study groups in the summertime. The Women's Guild gathers the strength, wisdom, and spiritual power of the women of the church. It provides for growth in Christian living through its varied programs of education, worship, and service. Under its president, officers, and committees, it undergirds the daily life of the local church. The basic unit of our Women's Guild Fellowship is in the circles. Presently, there are 8 of these intimate groups meeting regularly. Sometimes they meet at church, but usually in the homes of members. The Fellowship of Christian Women finds expression in devotions, in the sharing of programs, the planning of projects, the discussion about social issues of great importance. Friendly service sewing is a modern version of the sewing circles of earlier years. Now women find themselves part of a far-flung organization of Christian concern. Missionaries, teachers, doctors, nurses, and technicians channel the strength of the local church into areas of need. These servants of the worldwide church bring layettes to children who need them so much. The officers of the Women's Guild, together with the circle chairman, make up the guild board, which is in session prior to every guild meeting. The minutes are read and the report of the treasurer. These are heard by all. The guild board then plans for the annual bazaar, the rummage sale, the entertainment of outside groups. Assignments are given for the distribution of worship flowers to the sick and the shut-in. Plans for the bazaar, these are made in detail. Many hands go to work long before the actual affair. Luncheon signs have to be made. Handwork of various kinds, all these go together to help the guild treasury. The Christian stewardship of the things we possess and the things we earn includes special offerings for relief through our Congregational Service Committee and through other agencies. But the main support of our church and of our Christian world mission comes through the voluntary pledges of our church family. The benevolence chairman of the church and of the Women's Guild is in the holy procession of those who long ago packed the missionary barrels as she prepares this clothing for many projects in this country and overseas. While the women of the church have their circles, the men of the church find their do-it-yourself suppers a wonderful means to fellowship at their monthly meetings. chow mein and pie. What a menu. Many of our men are members of the Pocket Cross Fellowship, a national movement of Christian laymen. They carry this pocket cross and remind themselves constantly of their Christian calling as laymen of the church. At the meetings, social issues are presented and discussed. Outside speakers give their views on important Christian concerns. At our Pilgrim Fellowship, the young people of our church come together for Sunday evening parent-served suppers and for programs of interest to young people, for their own worship services, and of course, for recreation. In their summer conference programs, they meet for intensive training and for relaxed fellowship with other young people of the state of Minnesota. On Youth Sunday, some members of the Pilgrim Fellowship take part in the morning services of worship. Some of them read the scripture lesson, or lead in prayer, or give part of the sermon. And other young people, members of the choir, sing special musical numbers. A happy part of church life is our annual picnic. Children always go for a picnic, but so do adults. Recreation is planned, and some is unscheduled. But the best recreation of all, perhaps, is getting to meet new people. Newcomers to the church are soon so well acquainted with families that have been around for a long time that the Christian community grows closer together. We firmly believe that fun is a real part of Christian growth in the Christian community. In the Congregational Church, the supreme authority is, of course, the congregation. Elected by it are 3 boards which carry out the wishes of the membership. These are the boards of deacons, deaconesses, and trustees. The deacons and deaconesses often meet together. They consult with the minister and plan with him the spiritual life and fellowship program of the church. The trustees, on the other hand, are in charge of physical assets. They raise the necessary funds for the operation of the church. They supervise the physical upkeep of the property. They arrange for new floors, curtains, and carpets. They meet monthly and hear reports on income and expenditures. They approve bills that are in harmony with the budget which has been adopted by the whole congregation. Ours is a social religion that requires a great deal of fellowship. Church suppers are spaced throughout the year. One of them precedes the annual meeting. The call for this annual meeting of the church each January is read by the clerk of the church. The moderator is chairman of the church cabinet and conducts the annual meeting and calls for reports from all organizations. Some of these reports are made in person, but many of them are made available in written form, and a commentator summarizes the several pages. In addition to board chairman, the parish assistant, and the minister also review the past year and project some of the future. Flowers which have graced the worship center on Sundays are distributed by the women of the Women's Guild to the sick or shut-ins of our congregation, bringing with them the concern and the prayers of the church family. Young college people and nurses are part of our young adult fellowship who meet to plan for occasional program sessions. Our church is happy to give its facilities to outside organizations and community groups, such as these Cub Scouts. Part of our unique ministry in Rochester is shared by all of our denominations. The Conference Hospital Chaplain calls in the Rochester hospitals on Congregationalists from all over the world. Jointly sponsored by our state conference and by our Board of Home Missions, his relationship to our church is much appreciated. Our memorial chapel is open every day for private devotions. It attracts visitors to our city who have need of a place of prayer in the heart of the city. This, then, is a brief glimpse of our church, the church of a century past and the church of the modern present. You have seen the church in its various ministries, proclaiming God's love and his concern for the cure of souls. You have seen the church at play, blessing the fellowship of friends, extending the blessing of worldwide brotherhood. From this period of respect, review, and inspiration, our church now looks ahead to its second century. Its people go out into a world facing a future of growth, opportunity, and challenge, looking to God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come.